Okay, so once you're logged in, so basically what we need to do next is we'll try to create our first lab. So let's try to name it this one Napalm 1-1. It's the author. Okay, you can put your name there. And then you'll get this blank page. We'll try to add an object. Let's try to add one router and one switch. So I'll try to add a router. Now I'll just name it router and make sure the image is L3, and I'll make sure that NVRAM is set to 250. Okay, we have one router, and then we do have one. Let's try to add one more. Let's try to add one Cisco IOL device. So one Cisco switch. This time, since we're adding a switch, make sure that you're adding the L2 image, and let's change the icon to a layer 2 switch. I'll just name this one switch, and again make sure that the NVRAM is set to 256. Okay. This time what I want to do is that I want to connect to this router and to this switch using SSH and not via console. Basically, when we try to automate something, we usually connect to the devices using SSH or Telnet. So I'll try to, for us to do that, we need to bridge. Basically, we need to connect our local host network to these devices. So to do that, we need to add device, click network, and click cloud 0. Well, I'll try to name this one as a basically cloud. Basically, this is the huge switch. I'll try to do this. Okay, so I'll try to connect router 1 and the switch. Okay, so what I'll try to do now is that I will try to open this router and this switch, and I'll try to connect to the network itself. So basically what will happen is that the DHCP server, the this one, the switch right over here is basically this one, this line over here. So as you can see, it's like having a big switch being connected to the router and the switch that we created and our computer and the DHCP server that we created earlier. Meaning, if we try to get an IP address on this interface, it will be able to obtain an IP address based on the DHCP server scope that we created earlier, and at the same time, we'll be able to connect using that IP address using our computer right over here. So let's try to do that. So I'll try to log into the router itself. So I'll try to telnet to the router. So telnet, and okay, I'm in. Basically, if you do this one, if you try to telnet to this kind of port, basically what you're trying to do is in it, you're trying to connect to it via console cable. So but this is not what we want. We want to try to connect to it using like in the real world, basically using telnet or SSH. Okay, so in here I do have an interface connected to the big switch. So I want to get an IP address via our DHCP server. So we do have a DHCP server here, and this is the big switch, and this is the interface. So I will tell this interface, get an IP address using the DHCP server over here. So what I will try to, okay, so what I'll try to do is I will try to go to configuration mode, int e00. I'll try to go no shutdown, and I will ask set the IP address, but the IP address will be obtained using DHCP. So if I set DHCP over here, okay, I'll get some errors. Yep, but as you can see, the syslog, the terminal log will tell you that a DHCP address is assigned to Ethernet 00. As you can see, The IP address is part of the scope of the DHCP scope that we created earlier. So if I go to show IP interface brief, you'll see that I'm assigned with this IP address. So if from my computer right over here, so this DHCP server was able to assign an IP address to this router, it means that our computer now has a connection to this router right over here. So from our computer, I will try to ping 192.168.60.10, which is the IP address assigned to the router. I'll be able to ping it. I should be able to ping it. Sorry, it's 56, not 60. So I was able to ping the router from my computer. So basically my computer is able to ping to the router. Okay, this time what I'll try to do is that I'll try to configure the router over here. That way our PC can telnet or SSH to our device. Okay, and so to do that, basically I just need to create a username. We'll try to use Cisco. I'll try to make the privilege 15. That way I don't have to enter the from the user mode to privilege mode, and the password is Cisco. And then I'll try to create a domain name, IP domain name, since this is required for the SSH. Let's try R1, and the host name would be R1 as well. And I'll try to crypto key generate RSA. I'll try to use 1028 and IPSSH reserve version 2, and go to line VTY0 to 4, transport input SSH, and login local. Okay, the transport input SSH means that the only protocol that we can use to connect to the router is SSH. The login local means we will use the local database, which is the username and password that we created earlier, for us to be able to log in. So if I do the exit, so from the PC, I'm now in my PC. I'll try to SSH to it. So SSH Cisco at 192.168.56.10. So as you can see, I was able to connect from my computer right over here. I was able to connect to the router through SSH. So the password is Cisco. So I was able to connect to it. Again, what we did earlier is that we tried to connect our computer to the router using SSH. So that's it.